Okay, my voice is getting better. We're going to talk about, Purge, Pack, and Plan, getting ready for the move. We've got the move book. Now it's time to get our act together. Again, pick up that little book, Relocating. It has a really extensive to-do list, checklist that'll help you through all this, make sure all the boxes are ticked, and you'll be ready to rock and roll. What do we have here now? It's important that you organize the dates to make sure that you are entering the location, close to when you're getting your keys. Give yourself a day from getting the keys to actually move in. And obviously, you have to be out of your home. So there's some scheduling that has to go on there. If you're driving yourself, it's not that bad because you can make your own schedule. If you're using a container company, they're pretty flexible in some cases, depending on when the stuff gets there. And when you're working with a professional mover, vitally important that they have a move manager. We spoke about that earlier. That works with you at organizing the dates and deliveries. As mentioned, get your keys, get all your legal done, get your property. You may want to take a day just to do a quick clean of the home. Don't move in the same day you're getting your keys. Try to avoid that. Just because you're having, you could be sitting with a crew and a driver in your yard paying them to watch the other people move out. So, they'll give you a little bit of leeway, but if they have to sit there, they can charge waiting time. Same thing with your containers and everything of that nature. Make sure your elevator is reserved if you're in a building and the parking is arranged like we talked about earlier. Have your storage options in place if you're a new build or something of that nature. It's always good if you're dealing with a professional mover. It's no big deal. They can store it if they have agents in your area. That's why it's important to use someone with origin and destination representation. If you're doing it yourself, kind of touch base with some local storage, self-storage groups so that you know where there is something available, just in case you run into some sort of a snag. Have that option. And of course, organize your personal travel. If you're driving, make sure you're staying within safe driving limits. Another thing I didn't touch on in the TTG, a professional driver have what are called electronic logs. They can, by law, only drive so many hours per day. You should look at the same thing. If you're driving out 500 miles is about where you want to be, if not less. 800 kilometers. Don't push yourself too much. Air travel, your hotel rooms. If you're driving your own rental truck, do not push it. It's dangerous on the highway, and fatigue cause a lot of accidents. And don't text and drive. We have to get rid of stuff. The pulpit. I'm wheeling the pulpit back out again, including our bad habits. Clothing, furniture, appliances, vehicles, food. Take a long look at the things you want, and the bigger pieces. Kind of talk to your moving consultant to figure out what the actual piece is going to cost you to move, the volume it's taking up in the international container, or the weight equals money. There's a per 100 weight rate that is put together on long distance domestic or uh, interprovincial moves. And that weight is basically, you can do the quick math on that and kind of figure out what the item weighs and how far it's going and what it's going to cost you to move it that far. So if you have a large sofa, for instance, it weighs 300 pounds. You may be able to get $300 when you sell it, and it's going to cost you $600 to move it. By not moving it, you're saving the 600. You're getting the 300 for selling it. Can you buy something new out there for 900? Do when you have big items that you're not really, you know, made a decision on, kind of use that weight equals money formula, and it makes it a little easier to make a decision on it. Keep, sell, donate, or recycle anything that you don't want or need, and make some calls on the weight equals money end of things, or internationally, that's volume equals money. You can pack, you get the specific boxes from the moving company or from the rental company, the U-Hauls of the world. There are different boxes. The moving consultant can identify what boxes you need, and you can purchase them from the mover. Sometimes they have used boxes and they'll let you have them at a reduced price or free, um, and get packing. Again, purge what you don't need. Pack a few boxes a day and sort as you go. It's a great idea to have a friend or a family member with you to actually hold up the item, and then you give it the yay or nay. If we're too close to it, we become attached to it. And it's better just to sit back, let someone else hold it up, and make a ruthless decision. It's staying or going. No ifs, ands, or buts. Um, when you're packing, just leave the boxes in the room you're packing them in. Just stack them on top of each other. You don't have to, if you're doing the move yourself, you may want to position them, but the movers will come and get them. And if you're labeling them, put the label on the side of the box, not on the top of the box, because you'll have them stacked coming into your home and you want to take a look and see what room they're in. And no matter what you're doing, you cannot, if you're using a mover, and I don't suggest you doing this yourself, take anything corrosive, explosive, or flammable. You cannot take this, or non-admissible items, if you're moving with a professional mover. Lithium batteries are getting dicey now on international moves because of fires. So you want to talk to your consultant about that as well. But any can with a skeleton hand on it, a explosive symbol, or a flammable symbol can't be moved. Hairspray, shaving cream, aerosols, anything of that nature. So do not pack them if you're packing yourself. Don't even try to sneak them on them. If there's an accident, and if someone finds any of these cans, your insurance is void. So they're not, a $7 can of hairspray is not worth risking anything for, and they're very dangerous. So do not pack them. If you're doing it yourself, make sure you have that commitment from your friends in writing, blood if possible, because we do know how people seem to have something going on the day they're supposed to help you move. So make sure you have that commitment. It's vitally important. It's very heavy, and you need people there. Rent your equipment and dollies, etc., well in advance. Reserve parking spaces and the elevator when moving out and in, of course. Um, Suggest picking up the truck a day in advance so that you're ready to go on move day, and you're not going there and finding out the equipment is not available. So have that in place. One day doesn't really matter. And if you're doing it yourself, download and study safe lifting techniques. How to lift with your legs and hold the piece close to you and have a clear path of where you're moving the item to, and don't, move your back around. It's heavy stuff. Have someone on the other end that knows what they're doing. If you're loading a sofa, you know, read up on it before you do it, because again, this isn't gym stuff. This isn't stuff you do, with free weights or something like that. This is can cause some serious problems, and going downstairs backwards and up walkboards backwards and things of that nature. Make sure you download and read up on how to do these things. Have your trip planned if you're driving yourself, and as mentioned, don't overdo it when you're driving, and try and have a safe and pleasant trip and accident free. I'm going to go into the process here. If you're working on a long distance move, and you're using a mover, there's a process that goes on here, and I'm going to kind of go into that with you a little bit. this is domestic and international. I'm going to talk domestic. Um, Mainly on an international move, basically the only difference is that they're going to pack over a course of probably 3 days, 2 or 3 days, because they have to wrap every single piece of furniture like a Christmas present. Um, Takes them a little longer to do that, and the transit times are usually a little longer. But on a domestic move, or interstate move, long distance, what they do is they send a crew in, usually a day before the move. It's a packing crew. They come in and they pack all the pots and pans and dishes and things of that nature. They leave the beds up, and they leave the kitchen so that you can basically function in it. They'll leave, some pots and pans and things there for you. Um, on load day, a loading crew comes, a driver and his crew, if it's a traditional long distance move. Um, the driver is the foreman, the driver is in charge. They go in and they do a complete inventory of all the goods in your home. They put a little sticker on everything, and they write down what condition the item is in. If it's, scratched, what the item is, the condition it's in. They put the sticker on the corresponding inventory sheet. They write down the condition of the goods. They put floor runners down on all the floors. They disassemble all the beds, and they load all the goods. They wrap all the goods in big moving pads. They're like blankets, and they load the truck at your residence into that big giant jigsaw puzzle. It's up to you to take a final sweep of your home to make sure that the mover has everything, and then you sign off on it, and then they go into the transit. Now, depending on how big your home is, they may do what's called a pre-pack. They might come in a little earlier, or they might come in and pack some of the non-essential items like the garage or places like that. It depends on how big your move is. But in most instances, like a 3-bedroom home, pack one day, a crew comes in, load the following day with all that services. Then there's the transit time. They leave. If it's an international move, that transit time is subject to sailings. The ocean freight piece is, to be quite frank, the household goods moving industry is not a big player in the ocean freight industry. Like companies like Costco and Walmart and other places, take up a lot of the containers, and they get priority. But the mover will give you an international kind of transit time. On the move side, it's tied to that TTG, the transit time, given how many hours the individual can drive in a day, how many pickups and drop offs they have. On load day, if the driver is there, they will have what's called a trip. So they will know what they are doing along the way, and they will be able to tell you a lot clearer when they're going to be there. You also keep in contact with the move manager, and they have the individual's schedule. Keeping in mind that moves pop up all the time, and this individual might be rerouted to pick up another shipment or what have you, but they'll have a pretty good idea, usually give you their cell phone and keep in touch with you, or they'll call you a few days prior to the actual shipment happening. Uh, they load the truck, they weigh the truck before they load the goods on, they weigh it again, and then they're off. They have your actual weight, and they relay that to the move manager, and they can process your actual invoice. If it's a firm price, the price is the price, so you don't have to be overly concerned about that, or unless you've added something, or unless something has changed in the original survey, you need storage now or what have you. On delivery, they call, as again mentioned, you should have your keys in hand and ready to go in. They coordinate all of the delivery. I'm flipping around here a bit, but any third party services will be done usually on pack day or load day. If they have to ship a car, if they have to come in and take care of the appliances, if there's a gym to be, taking apart a home gym, etc. Delivery day, the driver gets there. If it's a traditional move, it will be the same person that picked you up will deliver you, the driver. In some cases, like a crate and freight service, or if they had to take the goods back to the warehouse uh, to get a long distance driver on it, it could be a different individual. At any rate, what they do is they give you what's called a bingo sheet, introduce themselves, put floor runners down. They give you a bingo sheet, and that sheet has a bunch of numbers on it, and they call out the numbers of the inventoried boxes that they did on load day, and you tick them off as they're delivered into your home, and you tell the movers where you want that item placed. So you should have your rooms identified. So that goes into the baby's room, that goes into the living room, that goes into the office, that goes into the kitchen, etc. They move everything in. They set everything up. They set the beds up. They set the tables up. Anything that they disassemble, they reassemble. Any third-party services that are need to come in and possibly attach the washer and dryer, that all happens on delivery or unpack day. And you tick everything off. If you don't have an item, you bring it to the driver's attention. If something is not delivered, or if you see something that is damaged on delivery, you bring that to the driver's attention. There's a process you have to go through if there is a claim. So the driver gets you all kind of set up and ready to go, gets everything delivered. If you have a vehicle, it might be delivered by a third party. It'll come in that day or the next day. They have their own transit times. The following day, depending on the size of your move, they send a unpack crew in, and the unpack crew basically sets everything up, takes away the boxes. They do not do a shelf to shelf move unless you've paid for it. They lay everything out on a flat surface, unpack some of the artwork, lean it against the wall, put some of the clothes back. If they have wardrobes, maybe hang those, but you're basically getting your stuff unpacked. A lot of cases, clients will say, okay, that's good. We'll take care of the rest ourselves. They take the material and off they go. You're settled in. You have time to look at all of the items. If there is any damages, there is a claims process. Do not throw anything out. If something is damaged, you have to show the mover, and they have to go through an insurance claim. As simple as that. And so you have 60, 90 days, clear that up with your moving consultant when you're getting the estimate to submit a claim, keep all of the items, and then they send someone in to repair or replace any items that's damaged. Again, if it is a packed by owner item, you may run into some difficulty with the actual claim process, because you have to kind of say it wasn't because of how you packed it; it was because of negligence on the mover's part. And that's it. They usually do a quality follow up to make sure everything is done right. Um, the industry encourages tipping on this side and this side, this side, this side, depending on how they're doing. It's up to you. It is very, very hard work. Um, and the people really work hard, and tips are very much appreciated. Cold drinks on a hot day, hot drinks on a cold day. Everything you can do for these guys and gals are very much appreciated. They're working hard, and it's a tough living, and you'll see that when you get it. Anyway, the claims, they usually try to handle them relatively quickly. Uh, if things are not proceeding to your satisfaction, you always have the van line system. But most of the times, if it's pretty clear cut, they'll have the claim settled relatively quickly, and you are now moved into your beautiful new home and starting a beautiful new life. We're going to talk about settling in and what that is all about. It takes 8 months to climatize. This is just a little bit of information on how to kind of hit the ground running. As I said in that little book, there's all kinds of checklists and things to do, but just to capsulize this, it takes 8 months to climatize to a new location. So you have to give it some time. It takes 4 months roughly to hit the ground running at work so that, you know, people are going to see you're making progress. I talked about very early about getting the first 90 days. You want some wins at work. You want to hit the ground running if you are working, and it takes 3 months to form a new habit and a new positive habit. So when you're settling in, we just want to touch on all these little things. You're in your new place. It's a wonderful place. You're going to still have some apprehension, and it's going to take you a little while, but everything's going to be all right. The first thing I suggest you do, I'm passionate about this, is to go green. Um, Everybody is looking for big business and corporations to make differences in the way we do things, but it gets down to you and I to do our part in trying to make this work and work properly. So save water, install low flow toilets, water fixtures, get a rain barrel, reduce, reuse, recycle, avoid excessive packaging wherever you can, look for eco-friendly products, unplug and recharge, go out and play. Get off your device and go out and have some fun. Look into green power for your home if possible. Plant something using a native species. Walk or cycle more. Build or buy a composter and put up a clothesline. I actually love clotheslines. If you can, go green. Make the commitment to yourself that you're going to do what you can to help the environment. I know everybody's planting trees. Every every mover you talk to is going to say they plant trees. Every realtor is, they'll wash their green wash, but it gets down to you and I to do it on a micro level. And I'm urging you to take this challenge and go green in your new location. Much appreciated. Getting orientated in your new home is important. There's one thing you should do is check all your fire alarms and speak to your family and have an emergency plan. It's important to make sure everything is running in that way. You have to get your license in place, your parking, your transit pass, all your orientation. Check your food and entertainment that's near you. School, sports, hobbies. You get that organized. Get involved with whatever extracurricular things you might want to do. Doctors and dentists, pets and vets. If you move with the fur baby, it's a good time to get out, and maybe one of the first things you do is find a vet and get a recommendation from your old vet to someone in your area. But the kids, the pets, spend some extra time, with your family because they're going through a lot, just like you are. Get your mojo working. Mojo is a quality that attracts people to you and makes you successful and full of energy. You've got 8 months to get your mojo going. And that is just getting out there, getting yourself out, because you can feel isolated. You're in a new place, or you can treat it like it's a vacation and you're a tourist, and you go and see the sights and you see what's happening in the community, and it's a great thing, particularly if you're overseas. It's a massive opportunity that a lot of people just transfer for this very reason. The sports, the hobbies are fantastic. Your kids and their activities are actually door openers to meeting new people. Your pets are a license to to talk. Gaming, if you're still gaming and you don't lose your old friends, you're just gaming from another location. If you're religious congregations, obviously volunteering, neighborhood associations, go clubbing. That's the newcomers club. If there's any social clubs, comedy clubs, nightclubs, get yourself out there and have some fun and get your mojo working. Social media, obviously, we're always on it. Facebook, meet up. There's places where you can just meet people and with interests, hiking clubs, all kinds of neat cycling clubs. Start a weekly family tradition. It's a perfect time to kind of get some sort of roots built in your new community, be it a Saturday buffet or is it a Sunday meal, whatever it might be. Start something, a movie night. Start something that you're going to do every week, and that brings a lot of familiarity into your kind of hectic situation and helps you settle into your new area, your entire family. We talked about work. Um, you've got all this on your plate. If you're working, obviously, there's another level to this. If you're retiring, following your heart, obviously, you want to just spend a lot of time with the grandkids or the people you love or the who you're getting back to. If there's work involved, you have 4 months to kind of hit the ground running. So it's important that you clarify with management your role and set some key performance indicators so that you know what they expect from you and that you can kind of work towards that, and so that you're working towards, you're not just kind of floating around looking for things to do. Meet with management and say, okay, let's clarify what I am doing here. Let me get something that I can measure and let's get at it. Get some early wins, low hanging fruit. um, Find out who the influencers are in the office. They're not necessarily the managers. And this is all covered off in the first 90 days. It's really a great book, but find out the politics and how it's played and the players. It's all part of the game, and make sure, more importantly, politics are one thing, but make sure you're doing your job and that you are looking to improve your position inside the organization. How do you get noticed? By hitting your KPIs and making sure management is in tune with what you are up to and what you're bringing to the table. You have 4 months to kind of say, yeah, Mary was a great hire or relocation. The ROI on that relocation is fantastic. Jim, working out just perfectly. Good habits, 3 months. The pulpit is out again. Take a look at what needs changing. We all know what needs changing. We all deep down know what we're doing wrong, don't we? Um, you know, Healthy, physically and financially. What's your finances look like? What's your health look like? What can you do to improve your health? What can you do to improve your finances? What about your relationships? What bad habits have you dragged with you from the other location? This is the time to say, hey, listen, I'm quitting smoking. I don't want to smoke anymore. I'm going to take a real stance on here. I've got a new apartment. I've got a new house. I don't want to do this anymore. It is the time. And of course, take a look at your spiritual kind of well-being. I don't know if you're religious or not. It doesn't matter. If it's the energy of the universe coming into you, or if it's the Holy Spirit, whatever it may be, take a good look at the ways that you can make yourself better. Because again, you have 3 months. If you start doing things differently, and this is the perfect opportunity to do things differently because you've never been here before, right? So you start doing things differently. You have 3 months to form good habits, and you have a brand new good habit that replaces the bad habit that you left behind. I suggest just setting up a little life logbook. It's in the little book I wrote. The fact of the matter, movers have to log everything they do every day when they're driving, and it's just a kind of a neat thing when you're moving. Have a big goal, a destination where you want to be, a monthly goal. If you can set that down, the reason most of us flounder around is because we don't set any goals. We just kind of go with the flow. And if you want to make a change, you have to kind of set up a little goal, a weekly goal that feeds into the monthly goal, and then a daily goal. Micro goals, micro steps that you're going to do every day to kind of make yourself better. If you're looking at getting into shape, do 2 push-ups, you know, micro. When you hit that, 4, etc. But set out some sort of a little logbook to kind of get all of the good habits happening, and you can make them happen in 3 short months. It gives you something to look forward to and something to do. At any rate, I've spoke enough. I hope this has helped you. It is one of the most stressful things we do in our lives, but it's also one of the most positive things we can do in our life. It's something that we can change everything. And I know this is kind of, people are rolling their eyes out there, but think about it. It's the only time you change everything. So why not make some personal changes as well? Relocating, a handbook on moving long distance. You can pick it up on Amazon. You can find me at customizedmoving.com. Again, my name is Larry Kruger, and I thank you so much for staying with me. You are now a PhD in moving, a pothole dodger, and I wish you all the very best. Life is a fantastic journey, and I hope you enjoy your next chapter. Adios. Goodbye.